He had short shorts, he had great legs, playing the accordion, he looked naked. If you give the slightest spark, beauty can grow. And Dick Clark got on a plane and flew to Miami to talk me into that thought. Hi everybody, I'm Gloria Estefan and you are watching Billboard News in Conversation.
Welcome, Gloria. It's great having you here.
Thank you so much. Feliz de estar aquí.
What's your favorite Billboard moment, past, present, or future?
I'd say right now, because, you know, there have been so many in the past. And I have to say, though, I think when I got to meet Selena at the Billboard Awards, right before she was killed, and she was so lovely and it was so beautiful. And thanks to being there at the Billboard Awards, I got to meet her. But I always like the latest things, and this Billboard moment, all these is fantastic.
And last year we honored you also.
Well, of course!
Latin women in music was very special.
Which is incredible, yes. Well, to be considered in legend territory is always very, very, it's a blessing and very surprising and beautiful. Emilio ni se daba cuenta que eran mis 50 años y le digo a él cuando él vino con la idea de Raíces, he brought me this idea a couple years ago and he said, would you mind if I wrote it for you? And I go, that would be phenomenal and beautiful. And he started bringing demos and showing me these amazing songs and I just fell in love and I said, we're doing this. And I go, and it's our 50th year. And he goes, no puede ser. I go, yes. I joined the band in 1975.
Amazing.
Yes.
And wow, he did all the songs and many are so romantic, so he wrote his own love songs.
Absolutely. Well, he wrote his own love song for me to sing to him. When he said that, I go, oh wait, you wrote me a love song, are you gonna sing it? He goes, no, you're gonna sing it to me. I agree with every word though in that song. I could have written it myself.
Right now you're working on another musical, not your story, but Basura, which I want you to tell us about.
Absolutely.
And you're writing lyrics and music with your daughter, Emily. What can you tell us about this experience?
You know, Emily was our miracle baby. She wasn't supposed to be born. So when we were able to have her, I remember I was pregnant and sitting by my piano and all I could think of was, what if one day I get to write songs, because we knew she was a girl, with my daughter, or sing with my daughter. And then cut 2 years later, she and I wrote the only original song in On Your Feet, which was called If I Never Got to Tell You. She wrote the music, I wrote the lyrics. And it was always a dream, and plus a secret thing to get her to spend more time with me, and it's just to be plain about it. But I thought, what an incredible opportunity to create something new with her, who is the new Estefan, her and my grandson, and my son's already a big dude, and he gone in another direction, not music. So more than 5 years ago, Frank, God rest his soul, our ex-president, calls me and says, there's a man that Michael Schulman wants to meet with you about this idea that he wants you to write music for a musical. He wants you to watch the Landfill Harmonic documentary.
Yes.
I watched the documentary, I was blown away, but I'm thinking, wow, this is a serious subject matter to
Tell us in a nutshell what it is about.
Yes, okay. The musical is based on La Orquesta Reciclable de Cateura, Paraguay, the recycled orchestra of Cateura. Cateura is the name of a landfill. Mm-hmm. It's a bañero, actually, and that bañero has a landfill in it. What happened in Paraguay is that a lot of people had farms that were then given over to soy production. They were kind of pushed out of where they lived, and the people that had money could go to the city and find a place, but a lot of the people had nothing. And they created these bañeros where they built their own little city. They live off the grid. There used to be a beautiful lake where this place was, but now there is a giant mountain of trash. And the only work that they can get is literally, they call them gancheros, finding stuff in the trash, making it new and selling it again. So this environmental engineer went down there trying to make things better, it wasn't going to be, but he was a musician and he played music and he thought, I want to bring something beautiful. So he started giving, with his violin, lessons to the kids there and created this orchestra. Needless to say, it was a tough place for instruments, ash storms, floods. Sometimes floods will come through and take all the homes and they rebuild them again. So one of the kids that was very attached to nature, they got the idea of building the instruments out of the trash. So for months, we called it the creative team Basura. It was hard to get that kind of pushed through because it's not by any means that these people or anything about that is, but the center of the story is about finding beauty, finding something beautiful, even in the most difficult circumstances, and how from trash came music, from music came hope. Their slogan is, the world sends us trash and we give back music. So without taking their line, and writing these songs has been a blessing. They're done. We're working with the incredible Alex Lackamore. I think we probably wrote about 17, 18 songs. We wrote some that then didn't end up in there, so you do it again. It's quite the process, and it's been beautiful throughout. And I'm so excited. We open May 30th of 2026, next year, at the Alliance Theater in Atlanta. And then hopefully in 27 for Broadway.
Amazing. What do you hope the audiences take away from this?
Okay, number one, I hope they take away the power of the arts, the power of music, and how even in the most dire circumstances, beauty can be found. I hope they think about the things that we throw away, because sometimes things do not need to be thrown away. We're getting so used to a disposable life, and the things that are of real value usually span years and centuries. You know, we have these amazing buildings that have lived so long. The disposable nature of the life we live. I hope they think about that, but not in a heavy-handed way. And I hope that they realize and remember that the human spirit is something that cannot be squashed, that if you give the slightest spark, beauty can grow. And, these kids have done amazing things, and we want to celebrate them and bring their story to Broadway.
Which are the 3 songs that you consider to be the most important in your career, and why?
Lordy.
Just 3.
Why are you doing this to me? 3 songs. Oh my God. All right, Conga, clearly.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga.
Probably Mi Tierra,
De mi tierra santa.
because it was, very important. And Con los años que me quedan,
Cuánto te quiero.
it's become a love song and wedding song, and it's the first song that Emilio and I wrote together way back in the day. There could be so many more, but
Tell me 2 more.
if we're gonna be real, Dr. Beat, which actually broke through, but I didn't write that one. Anything for You, my very first number 1. Coming Out of the Dark,
Finally see the light now, and it's shining on me.
which was a big thank you to everyone that sent prayers my way after the accident. That song poured out of me in 10 minutes.
I still remember the first time you sang it live.
Oh
I
my
was watching.
gosh, it was
It was-
insane. Oh, on the American Music Awards,
Oh, the American Music.
which I wanted to kill Emilio because Dick Clark had called. The accident was in March. Dick Clark called Emilio in September. So I was still at a point where I couldn't move by myself anywhere. And Emilio actually came to me to tell me that Dick Clark wanted me to perform in January of, like the following January. And I'm thinking to myself, I was inside this new body that didn't feel familiar, that I was relearning everything, relearning how to walk, relearning how to wash my face to be able to not be in pain. And I'm thinking, the last thing I'm gonna think about is getting on a stage. I wanna be able to walk and get a glass of water by myself. I want to make, not put my family through what I went through if I could help it. So he was nuts. And then I said, babe, I can't. And then he told Dick Clark, he goes, I can't convince her, you're gonna have to. And Dick Clark got on a plane and flew to Miami to talk me into that thought.
Did that help you with the recovery? Did you
It
work
did,
harder?
because Emilio, as usual, was right. My first outing 3 months after the accident was to the studio because I felt so bad for him that he hadn't left my side. He said, I have this piece of paper that I wrote this thing on the day you had the accident in the helicopter. He goes, I found it today in my pant pocket, getting a quarter for the toll. And it was all washed. He hands it to me, and I look at it and I go, why is it in English?
Emilio, what
I go, what happened? And it said, coming out of the dark. And he said, I would love for you to come to the studio. John Cicada's gonna meet me there. And I went for him. And when I just heard the one melody line of coming out of the dark that John sang, it was like, oh my God.
So
and it
powerful.
all poured through me. So that's what I was gonna perform on the American Music Awards. And having that goal really helped me to focus and not just deambular, even though I was every day I was focused to get better. It gave me a date to shoot for. And it was important to focus on something other than what I was going through at the moment.
Going back to your beginnings, what do you remember the most about your start in the music business? You've said before that you were very shy. Were you scared? How did you conquer your fears? How did you feel? What do you remember?
It's not that I was shy, because one-on-one I was perfectly fine and I could handle any situation. I was an observer. But what I don't like is to be the center of attention. That's just not my nature. So to join the band, it was for fun. I never thought, oh, I'm gonna be famous or I'm gonna do, these crazy things. No.
Because there was a really nice guy in that band.
There was, but I saw him as a man. Like, he was only 4.5 years older than me, but he was very responsible. He took care of his parents.
Just in case, I'm talking about Emilio.
Emilio, yes. He worked during the day. He had studied at night. He had side jobs. He had businesses. So I saw him as like, oh, Mr. Estefan, the boss. And when I met him at a friend's house, he came with his accordion to give us some tips on how to get a band together for one night. We were gonna play for our parents. They were coming back from these spiritual retreats that they were doing back in the day. So he came, he gave us some pointers, he walked in, he had short shorts, he had great legs, playing the accordion, he looked naked. I was sitting on the floor, and I really, I thought, wow, this guy's got charisma. He left, we did our gig, everybody went their separate ways. I had 2 jobs that summer, and I was starting full-time in school, and my mom drags me to a wedding. And when we go in, because she was always late, so we missed the ceremony in the church, we walk into the banquet hall and I go, I know that guy in that tux. And he was playing Do the Hustle on the accordion. So
Not naked this time.
No, not naked, but still cute. We ran into each other in a doorway and he goes, you're that girl? I go, yeah, you're that guy. He goes, sing with the band. I'm going like, ah! But these people had heard me play guitar and sing since I was a kid. They were my dad's army buddy, and it was his daughter getting married. She's my friend. So I go, well, what do you know? I go, I know Sabor a mí, Tú me acostumbraste. I play them for my grandma because I figured Latin band. He was playing all Latin songs except Do the Hustle. And I sang, and I got a huge ovation. And that night he asked me to join, and I said no, that I appreciated it, but I had 2 jobs already. I was going to start school. He called me, he found the number and called me 2 weeks later. And my sister, oh, it's that boy. And my mom, what boy? And my grandma, you remember I told you that it was gonna land in your lap and you weren't gonna be happy in your life unless you share your gift. I hope you listen to me and not your mother. And I did, and I joined the band for fun. And every step of the way has continued to be fun. It's been exciting. We've been our own best cheerleaders. I didn't start dating him till a year after. He had an older girlfriend, let me tell you. She was 36, he was 22.
Oh my God.
And I didn't think he'd be interested in me. I had 0 experience. I never went out anywhere because I took care of my dad. So joining the band was a freeing experience, and marrying him was an even bigger freeing experience. I didn't think I'd get married the day after I turned 21. And I had no doubt that I wanted to be with him the rest of my life. And we've made a very unique partnership. And I think a lot of the things we've accomplished is because we're together. And I would have it no other way. I have only beautiful memories from every single step. Because Emilio would say, thank God I speak Emilio. He would say to me before, when we started dating,
language.
he goes, you could improve 95%. I'm going like, 95%? Really? Like what 5% are you hiring or dating me for? Because he goes, well, I love your lashes. I go, oh, great, thank you. But I knew what he meant because he would see me in the rehearsals and I was so loose. And then when I would get on stage, it was a little bit like, so that's what he meant. Thank God I understood how he spoke. If not, I don't think we would have been married at all. But yeah, he saw something in me before I even saw it. And he helped me bring it out.
When did you realize that you really made it in music? What changed in your life?
I think when Conga crossed charts in Billboard, that I thought, okay, they're getting it. They're understanding what we have believed all along could happen. And look, that song is now gonna be going to the Grammy Hall of Fame, 40 years of that song. So that was a very special moment. And look, Billboard was a part of it because Billboard is what tells you the success that you're having or not. And I remember that was so exciting for us just to see, oh my gosh. And it took a year.
Anything you miss doing or wish you could do without being recognized?
Oh, I
Because
do
you're
it.
still famous.
Yeah, but nothing stops me from doing anything I want. At this point, I was talking to my grandson about that the other day because him and I will get in a car and go to an escape room. And inevitably, somebody will ask for a picture. He knows I'm always gonna stop. He always says, I'll take the picture. He's very kind about it. My kids lived a different experience because that part of it, when you're at the top, you literally can't go anywhere because it becomes impossible. It creates a scene, people go crazy, you divert from the kids. And even though I told them, if we're in public, I'm never gonna say no to an autograph because we have a moment to either make them happy or possibly traumatize them from approaching anyone ever. So they understood, but it was harder for them. That's why I love this moment where, yes, we have a beautiful career and I still get the love. People ask me for hugs, but it's not the craziness of that moment when you're new, fresh, the fame is huge, and that part is tough. You have to sacrifice your privacy, and I'm a pretty private person, but I love people, so everything is a balance. I love where I am right now, that I can do anything I want to, and it's manageable.
As one of the most stable and beloved couples in
Oh,
Latin
my
music
baby.
and in music in general, I would say, how do you keep the spark alive after all these years?
Oh my gosh, he makes me laugh every day. And if he goes on a trip, I'll go to brush my teeth and there's a little note, babe, I'm gonna miss you. He draws a little thing, him with a guitar or something. He's just very sweet and thoughtful. He will buy me stuff all year round, like to the point where I tell him, babe, please, I don't need any more jewelry, but he's happy doing that. Me mima. He spoils me in so many ways, and I try to do the same for him. We're excited. We love being with each other. We miss each other. We don't sleep the same when we're apart, and it just becomes deeper, and there's a lot of respect and admiration. There's no arguing at all for anything at this point in our lives. There's no reason. We feel the same about music, business, politics, and when you don't argue a lot, that's a really good thing for a relationship. So it becomes deeper and much more meaningful.
So you have the new album, you have a Broadway show, you just did a movie last year, you have your foundation for many years.
Yes.
How do you choose your projects nowadays?
Well, a lot of it has to do, is it gonna take me away from my family? Because they've been wanting me to tour for a long time. And touring is wonderful because I get to be with the fans, but it's like boot camp for me. Musicians can get up there, live the life they wanna live, they blow, and it's the same, my voice, my body is my instrument. So when I'm on tour, I can't go out to restaurants. I can't leave, be talking. It's tough. And I worked really hard on my life, and I think, did I really work that hard to work this hard? I don't know if that's what I want. So I'm picking and choosing. I will be in Tenerife in concert at a festival that's super cool festival. I'll put the show together especially for them because I know the certain songs that they want to hear that I might not do on a regular tour. But if it's something that's going to take me away from my grandson's life and miss big chunks of it, that's high on my list of priorities. He's growing so fast, and before your eyes, they're out the door. So I want to enjoy as much as I can. Those relationships you really have to build from early on, and I have.
What keeps you going professionally at this point?
Creating new things, doing something that wasn't there 3 hours ago. This show, this musical, Basura, has been beautiful. It was funny because when the man came, he brought me one of the instruments. Frank was still alive, as I was saying, and I thought, oh my God, this is such a beautiful idea. And then I said, okay, I'll do it. And then when I went home, what the hell did I just do? What did I do?
I got into it.
I have to write all these songs. And then when I got in the process, the only way to finish something is to start it.
Right.
And that's the way I look at it. I just dive in, and it's been a beautiful process.
Anything you still would like to achieve professionally that you haven't achieved?
Oh gosh, well, this was always my go-to answer, and it's getting a little more difficult to envision it. But if it were to happen within the next few years, to sing in a free Cuba, somehow that dream just, every time we feel a piece of it, like on July 11th, a few years ago, when we thought, oh, maybe this is it, maybe this is the moment, and then it dissipates under the, crushing weight of that dictatorship, of that very difficult government. And I think, well, Celia had that dream too.
Yeah, I was going to
and
say.
it wasn't in the cards. So, and just to enjoy life more, take more vacations.
As the closing song of Raíces says, how will you be remembered? How do you wish to be remembered?
I actually wrote a song answering that exact question years ago, and the title is Remember Me with Love. That's all I hope, that when people think about me, either because of my music or the way I represented the culture or family life or whatnot, that they remember me with love, that there's a smile on their face, and that they play the music a lot.
That for sure. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
with us, Gloria, today. It's always a pleasure
Thank
talking
you.
to you.
I
You're
love
such a big
talking to you.
inspiration.
I love talking to you always. Thank you so much. And thank you to Billboard, by the way, for all the support and the love through the years that I've seen. It continues to be the magazine for the industry, and it's fascinating how the industry has changed. I'd love to interview you about
Oh, that'd be great.
those things.